Okay, let's dive right in. We're going to break down one of the most ambitious engineering projects out there, a machine that uses the fundamental rules of the universe to solve problems we once thought were, well, impossible. Today, we're talking about how you actually build a quantum supercomputer. But here's the thing, and this is the question that really frames this whole explainer. We see these incredible machines in the news. We know they exist. So what's the holdup? Why aren't they already revolutionizing everything? The answer really comes down to the difference between a cool prototype and a true world-changing supercomputer. And the stakes, they couldn't be higher. The promise, as Talia Gershon from IBM Research puts it, is to go after problems we can't even get close to it with today's tech. I mean, think about designing new ways to fight climate change or creating personalized medicines by perfectly simulating molecules. That's the prize. Which brings us right to our first section. We're going to look at that incredible quantum promise and the massive quantum problem. You got this amazing potential on one side and a huge engineering roadblock on the other. So when you see a picture of a quantum computer, that gorgeous, super intricate chandelier-looking thing, you're looking at a single isolated unit. It's an absolute masterpiece of engineering for sure. But here's the kicker. That's just one. To actually change the world, we're going to need thousands of them, all working together. But getting to those thousands of machines working in sync is where we hit a snag, a big one. See, you can't just keep building a single quantum computer bigger and bigger. You eventually hit a wall, a quantum wall. To get what this wall is all about, you got to understand the basic building block, the qubit. Your laptop uses bits, right? Simple, on or off, a 0 or a 1. A qubit, though, can be in a state of superposition. It can be both 0 and 1 at the exact same time. The best way to think about it is like a spinning coin. Before it lands, is it heads or tails? Well, it's kind of both, right? That's the magic that makes these things so powerful. But, and this is a huge but, that quantum magic is also their biggest weakness. These things are unbelievably fragile. The slightest little thing, a tiny change in temperature, a stray vibration, can make it all fall apart and create an error. This is the number one problem we have to solve. So here's the bottom line. Because they're so delicate, you hit a physical limit. You can only pack about 1,000 of these fussy qubits into a single machine before the error rates just go wild. And the crazy part is, the problems we want to solve, they need millions of qubits. So you can see the disconnect. So if you can't build up, what on earth do you do? Well, this is where the big aha moment comes in, an idea they actually borrowed from the world of classical supercomputers. The solution? You go horizontal. Okay, so forget trying to build one single, gigantic, perfect quantum computer. That's the scale-up approach, and we know it hits a wall. The new game plan is to scale out. And what that means is you build a bunch of smaller, more manageable quantum computers, and then you network them all together. This one shift in strategy, it's a total game changer. It's how we get past that quantum wall. Okay, great, but how do you actually connect these things? It's not like you can just plug in an Ethernet cable. The connection has to be quantum too. And the answer, it's actually pretty elegant. You use light. To be specific, we're talking about individual particles of light, telecom photons. These are basically the most reliable messengers we have for sending quantum information. And the best part? They can travel through the exact same fiber optic cables that power our entire internet right now. And this whole light-based approach has some massive advantages. First up, the connections work at room temperature. That saves a ridiculous amount of energy. Second, you don't need these clunky translators that create noise and errors. We're talking 10 times fewer errors, or even more. And finally, it's just scalable. You can keep plugging in more and more modules, almost like you're adding servers to a data center. So this is what we're looking at. This is the new building block. It's not some giant one-off machine. It's a standardized, modular quantum server rack, built from day one to be networked with thousands of others just like it. All right, so we've got a way to scale. Problem solved, right? Well, not so fast. Because when you link up thousands of these modules, you create a whole new monster of a problem. How do you manage the tidal wave of errors that's going to happen across this huge network? I mean, just think about it. One tiny error in one module could spread like a virus and wreck the whole calculation. So what you need is something that can find and fix those errors basically instantly before they can spread. You need a real-time immune system for your quantum computer. Or, I kind of like this analogy better. You need the quantum internet's error police. And believe it or not, that system is actually being built. What you're looking at here is a prototype of something called DecoNet. It's basically a hardware system that's woven into the network, designed to be that error police force. It spreads out the job of finding and fixing errors across the whole system. And it has to be mind-bogglingly fast. This DecoNet prototype can find and fix an error in just 2.40 microseconds. That's unbelievably quick. And that speed is what lets us build what are called logical qubits. See, a logical qubit is a super robust quantum bit that's made up of a whole team of those fragile physical qubits working together. This system is fast enough to keep that team in line, catching errors before they cause any real damage. This is what makes a huge networked quantum computer actually feasible. So let's put all the pieces together. We've got scalable modules, we connect them with light, and we have a real-time system to squash errors. What does that get us? Well, it gets us the future, the quantum data center. And this isn't some sci-fi dream. This is literally the blueprint they're working from. We're talking about a 1 million qubit machine. It would be housed in its own massive data center, covering an entire acre of land. And inside, you'd have thousands of those server racks we just saw, all humming along, networked together with light, acting as one single massive brain. This right here, this is the end game. A whole facility where thousands of quantum processors work together as one. This is the place where we'll finally have enough computing power to do the impossible, to design brand new medicines, discover materials we've never even imagined, and solve problems so complex that our best supercomputers today wouldn't even know where to start. So there you have it. That's the roadmap. A modular design, networked with light, and constantly checking itself for errors. That is how you build a quantum supercomputer, which of course leaves us with the most exciting question of all. Once it's built, what problems are we going to solve with it?